Good evening, everyone. Wow, you guys came to a hush very quickly. So I'd like to welcome you guys to the Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory. Thank you guys all for being here on a Tuesday evening in the summertime, nice and cool. Yes, I am wearing a sweatshirt. It is freezing in this place. But we are very excited to have two gentlemen who we could consider friends here at the Rancho Mirage Library joining us on stage. And we'll get back to them in just a moment. But just a real quick thing about the Library and Observatory here during the summertime. We have a beautiful and wonderful summer reading program. Okay, and although a lot of our programming does revolve around children, this morning this room had over 400 children watching and touching animals. We then got to change the room over for this beautiful event today. So we're still very active in the summertime. Many people say, oh, what do you guys do in the summertime? You're so bored. Let me tell you, we're not bored. But I do encourage everybody to sign up for our summer reading club. It is for people of all ages. In addition to, it is free of charge. In addition to getting to just enjoy the love of reading, you actually get to win some prizes if you're one of our lucky raffle prize winners. And some of the adult only, and you're eligible for the children's. There's lots of Legos and things of that, but some of the adult programs or prizes, the biggest one yet is 2 tickets to the 2027 Rancho Mirage Writers Festival. The next biggest one that we like to enjoy is a private stargazing for up to 25 of your friends at our observatory. We have a gas and goodies gift card valued at $250. We also have a Taste of Rancho Mirage gift package. So you get to kind of go around Rancho Mirage and try out some new restaurants or maybe some of your favorites. So again, we encourage everybody to sign up. It is free of charge. Please just come into the library when we're open. It's a very quick registration. Upon your registration, you'll get a $2 book coupon to go to our book nook, and you can take home a book right then and there. So. Tonight's program, along with our summer reading club, is made possible by our Rancho Mirage Library and Observatory Foundation. They are the fundraising supporting arm of our library. They have raised enough funds for us to say that they fund 100% of all of our programming and our collection development, whether it be physical or digital, and we make that all free of charge to our community. So I want to give a big round of applause to our foundation. All right, so I have something a little fun tonight. I don't do it often, but one lucky person is going to go home tonight with a collection of Steven's books. Here we go. So, let's see here. I've already selected the chair, and I didn't do anything other than, so the winner is seated facing stage right, so my left-hand side. Row 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've got seat 2, and I see a gentleman there. That is you. So, that is my luck. So, let me give you these so I don't forget. All right, so speaking of good nights, we've got a wonderful program tonight, but after our program, Steven will be signing his book. So for those of you that do want to sign book or just a quick say hi, please line up along this wall. We'll get everybody out really quickly, but we're very much looking forward. Our partners at Follett Bookstore are in the back. They are selling Steven's newest book along with his earlier books as well. So please grab a book, support Steven, and get an opportunity to say hi in person. So now on to tonight's main event. Our moderator is someone that the library loves and knows. Jason Blitman is a theater director, arts producer, and host of Gaze Reading, a book podcast that, as he puts it, is for everyone. He's produced literary festivals right here in the desert and has a gift for drawing out the best conversations from authors he sits down with. While we're not quite ready to make our formal announcement, let's just say that we're very much looking forward to working with Jason a lot more in the coming few months. And tonight marks a very special milestone, and it'll be the first time he is on our stage. And our guest of honor tonight, if you're in this room, you already know who he is, and you already know you love him. Steven Rowley. His newest novel, Take Me With You, is perhaps his most inventive yet. A story about love and what it means to be left behind when your husband is apparently abducted by aliens. It is as wonderful as it sounds. Steven, Jason, welcome home and welcome to the stage.
Hi, Jason.
Do you feel the pressure after that?
No, you know what I feel? This is my last event for this tour. I have done like 18 flights in the past 25 days. I have managed not to get sick. And when he just said 400 children and zoo animals in this room, I'm like, I was like, this is what's going to do me in, I know it.
They're not here now.
Yeah, they
As
were.
far
I
as
can
I
feel
can
it.
tell.
Everything feels sticky.
Yeah. I know. It's like a movie theater watching.
Yeah. Who won the books? Ah, incredible.
Congratulations.
Hey.
Also, so I host a book podcast, and so I read a ton of books, and I'm going to win those 2 tickets to the festival. So this is now a competition. I was saying earlier that I'm usually used to using a handheld mic for events like this, and I feel like I'm not as funny with the microphone right here.
Yeah.
So hearty laughter is strongly encouraged, and also be mindful, the seats are below us, which is a terrible angle.
Oh, for photos,
so please
yes.
be very kind.
Stand up to
When
take
you
photos.
post them, just be kind.
There we go.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, you've already heard the sort of one-liner elevator pitch for the book, so we don't need to go back to that.
Sure.
Right? You heard it. We get it. If anyone's confused, there will be a Q&A we can ask. We can follow up. We'll follow up. Okay, so clearly, there's sort of like strange things that happen in this book, right? Apparently abducted by aliens, is what Aaron said. What are your sort of general thoughts on strange things happening?
In the Southern California desert?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you have experience with strange things happening? Have you always had a fascination of like perhaps potential unidentified flying objects that, not hurtling towards your head at a book event or something? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should back up 1 second. For anybody who doesn't know.
For anyone who wasn't listening to Aaron talk.
The story of Norman and Jesse, a couple who've been together for 30 years. When Jesse thinks he witnesses Norman step out in their backyard, stand in a strange beam of light, and disappear. It was inspired, I guess, by an argument. Well, not an argument. Byron's here somewhere, my husband. Not an argument. A strongly heated conversation about if, and maybe it's the same for all of you and your spouses and partners, if a UFO showed up over your backyard and the beam of light shone down, like, would you go? And Byron is firmly team bye. No time to say goodbye, no time to think, no time to, it's just pure instinct. And I was like, and I'm left going, well, am I not enough? Is this life that we're building not enough to stick around for? Are the dogs not enough to stay for? And, but what I like about that question, particularly as the jumping off point for a novel, is that I do think both answers are morally defendable. I do think the purpose of life is exploration, and how could the promise of answers to the unknowable questions of the universe, how could that not be, you'd have to go. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, my life as a writer particularly has been about a more quiet exploration, a humanity, how we treat one another. And in terms of a marriage, which is very much what this book is about, like, how could that not be I do think like two people can know each other for an entire lifetime and still not know everything about one another. So how could I not stay and double down on that exploration too? Now, it takes place in Joshua Tree because where else are weird things going to happen, right?
Weird things happen everywhere.
Yeah. Yes, but particularly, I think, in the desert.
So have you had experience with an ominous thing? Did you walk into a building and you were like, oh, I feel the vibe? Or...
I don't think I don't know that I feel the vibe. I don't know, like sometimes I'm wondering like, oh, God, because our house, it settles, it makes strange noises. Palm fronds, it's windy out here, something, a little fall on the roof, and you're like, everything's kind of explainable. But, as a kid, like growing up, watching Close Encounters of the Third, like E.T., Alf, remember Alf? And so like there was always this sort of fascination, and I have to say, like, I don't really think I believe in ghosts, but I think it's impossible not to believe in other life out there somewhere. It's so vast, it's so infinite, it's so, like, how could it not?
Well, and to that point, I almost wonder, I was gonna say knowing Byron, his response isn't if the spaceship comes, it's when. Right? But there's something to that. It's like, we know that something is going to show up in your life. It's not a matter of if.
Yeah,
right.
Even if it's just to distract from certain files that you don't want to advertise that your name is in. Like those, yeah. The truth is out there, to quote another sci-fi show.
Algae is basically an alien.
Yes, and it's taken over the reflecting pool. Yes. Yeah.
It is alien to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
Are we The View? Is this Hot Topic?
This feels like Hot Topics. Yeah. Oh, ooh, that was contentious. Yeah.
Hot Topic.
Hot Topic right there.
So
yeah.
hot. You've been on tour for a few weeks.
Yeah.
You're sort of living a version of the book. You're home, welcome home. What's it like with a homecoming, right? The idea of leaving your husband, the situation you just described.
Yeah,
I've lived
it twice now from the perspective of each partner, right? Like, so I wrote this book, finished last fall sometime through copy edits and everything. Like, it was done probably like last October or something. And in January, Byron's mother had a health emergency, and he had to fly to be by her side, and we didn't know how long he was going to need to be there, and she's doing much better, and thankfully. But we bought him a one-way ticket, and it happened like a phone call late at night, got him on an airplane, and he was gone, and I was kind of left going, well, oh. And there were certain things, and I almost want to be like, stop the presses, I want to rewrite the book now, because there were certain details, like he left his reading glasses on the side of the bathtub, and I was like, oh, he's going to need I'm sure he has another pair, but like, I was just like, I felt drawn to these reading glasses, and just like, God, like wherever he is, because literally, like, he went back to the mothership, to be by her side. So I was like, he needs these glasses. And so I was feeling very much the story from Jesse's perspective, who's the husband who was left behind. Now, as you mentioned, I've been the one who left, and I've been gone, and more time on airplanes than on the ground, it feels like. And so, yeah, now I'm Norman whizzing around in the sky, maybe. But it does give you that perspective, yeah.
Do you feel changed coming home after a book tour? I mean, listen, you're gone for weeks, 18 cities.
Sure.
There, right? You maybe hyperbolically said 18 planes, but I think it was something like that.
Yeah. Do I feel change? Like sometimes, yeah, it's humbling to come home because the dogs, they're happy to see you for the first 5 minutes, and then it's just ho-hum, feed us. And Byron too, like you realize like people are
and Byron too, ho-hum, feed me.
Yeah. No. It's wonderful to be reunited with Byron as well, but it's like I'm used to like every night the adoration and people, showing up to see me and hear what I have to say. No one cares what I have to say at home, so it's like, it is like a process, a humbling experience of coming back down to earth.
Yeah.
As it were. So, yeah, it is different, but it is, it's so lovely to be home. But sometimes, it was harder 2 years ago. Byron and I bought a house 2 years ago. We lived in a different neighborhood, but anyway, still here in the desert. And we moved on a Friday, and I left for book tour for the Gunkel Abroad on Monday.
Yeah.
And so I came home after a month away that time and be like, I don't even know where we keep the spoon. You know, like I really felt like an outsider. Now I know where they're
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That would have been so funny if he moved them.
Yeah, just to mess with me.
When you came back from
Yeah.
this tour.
Yeah.
Have you sort of noticed those things when Byron was gone? Where you're like, oh, he's always the one that closes the blinds.
Oh,
or when you
so
came
much.
home,
Yeah.
oh, wait, this thing moved. Is it in a different place now?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I found myself, like, for the very beginning, like, respecting a lot of the systems. He loves to say systems. He has systems that he has put in place to run our household. And then, you know, I would get lazy or I'd have my own opinions about systems. You know, this should be different. And so, like, over time, I'm like, oh, I really is kind of like Jesse. You know, because Jesse, if that happened, if you thought you saw your partner disappear into a beam of light, you'd be like, well, are they coming back? You know, like, you know, I don't know. And I started to go a little crazy because he was gone for, I can't remember, like 5 weeks or something. And so I was like, after the first couple weeks, it was like, well, wait, did he leave me? And I'm like, and I'm somehow misremembering, you know, like.
You had to check the fax machine.
Yeah. Yeah, for a Dear John letter.
Right.
So yeah, it was very interesting, but it's hard to return. I don't want to spoil anything from the book, but it is hard to come back from tour or something like that, and you realize like, oh, life has gone on without me. I'm stepping back into. I'm often like stepping on their toes, literally and figuratively. It's just one more person in the kitchen.
It was hard, right? Because like, you know, when you come home from vacation, it's hard.
Yeah, but usually you're coming home together.
But even still, you're like, oh my God, I forgot that the pile of laundry was there. Yeah. You know, is that just me? Okay, let's say that Byron does go up into the mothership and weeks go by and you're like, okay, he's not coming back. What do you do first?
Someone, I think it was in Nashville, all the cities start to run together. They asked, this is the weirdest question I got on tour, like, if Byron did go up with the aliens, would he let you have a hall pass? And who would be on whose name?
I'm sorry, your partner disappears.
That's what I
forever.
said. I'm like, I need some sort of laminated ticket to move on with my life. I don't think so.
That is an unspoken clause.
Yeah, you made your choice, Byron.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and be a nun. What was the question?
Unless you wanted to be.
Yeah.
What would you do first? He's not coming back. What do you do first?
I don't know. That's a terrible question. I don't even want to think about it. But that is what, you know, that is truly like what the book is so, you know, represents in a way. It is It is about loss. It is about yearning. It is about longing. It is about, you know, even for a couple and they've been together for 30 years, even when Norman is here, there's all this sort of desire for it to be slightly different, right? It's not, we lionize new love in literature particularly. Like we love a meet cute, right? We also love hockey smut. But we love a meet cute, right?
There's a meet cute in the hockey smut too?
In the hockey smut too, yeah. And there's a meet cute in this book also. But like, you know, after 30 years, it's not the white hot passion, burning passion of new love. And that is, I think, a little bit what the light comes to represent, that warmth of the light. Like you're sort of drawn to it. So like even when Norman is still here, there's some desire for change, desire to make things different than how they are. And then once he's gone, I think there's shock. You know, it's like all the stages of grief and grieving in a way. And I think like when I pitched this book to my editor, I was speaking very ethereally, like, you know, even in the best marriages, we all need a little space. Or we're all of us aliens, even to the people we think know us best. And so they're like, oh yeah, it's a book about marriage. Okay, great. And then I turned the book in, and they're like, chapter 1, aliens, UFO, light, and they're like, oh, I thought we were speaking metaphorically. Like, I don't think they knew what they bought. So yeah, it is like a little shocking to think what you would do, but it does work on multiple levels.
It does work on multiple levels. Yeah. Okay, every relationship has a thermostat setting.
Did I write that?
Oh my God. Exhausting.
It's been a long tour. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like me. Yeah.
Of course, I don't have my copy of the book that has the note in it.
Yeah.
But something along the lines of like the fan settings is Come on.
Yes, okay. No, I got it. I'm here with you.
What's your setting?
By the way, I borrowed a book from Jason last year, and he writes like extensive, like underline, like everything, highlights, notes in the margins. It was really fascinating.
Good at my job.
Look at your thought process. Yeah. It was distracting though to me as a reader.
You're welcome for letting you borrow that.
I was like, he wrote in a book. It's like, you know.
The advanced reader copy.
Yeah.
In pencil.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, yes. Every relationship, I posit, has a thermostat setting.
Yes.
You like, it can go between 68 and 72, but if someone wants to turn it up to 85 or down to 59, like, it's not going to work, right? Like, I think when two people match, they have this sort of comfort zone with each other where they can exist within, and it's usually a few degrees. And it's when one person really wants to change the temperature setting that then the relationship, might be in trouble, but maybe it's an invitation to the other partner to try something new.
Trying new things is scary.
Yeah.
Okay, we've like ribbed Byron a lot, so let me just say, Byron.
Franklin, it's your turn.
My
There's
husband
Jason's
is also
husband.
here too.
Yeah.
But no, Byron Lane is a fabulous writer in his own right, and his book A Star Is Born is terrific, and everyone should know about it. He also wrote a book called Big Gay Wedding. Talking about Byron, talking about him being a writer as well, talking about your life together, Jesse workshops jokes with Norman at home, because Jesse teaches humor writing. Is that what it's like at home with the two of you?
Well, I always say this, like, we do make each other laugh every single day. And I feel good because the lights are shining right in my eyes. I don't even know where Byron is.
He's at the bar.
Exactly. The library has
Mention
a bar.
number 2, he went to the bar.
Yeah. And so we do laugh every day. It is not, and yes, we can workshop jokes. We have a slightly different. I mean, we have a sense of humor that exists in the thermostat setting, I think, but his can run a little hotter, I think, sometimes. And so we don't always find exactly the same things funny. I will craft a beautiful joke, and then I'll be home and I'll be like beep bop borp, and that's what will make him laugh. And I'm like, God, why did I spend hours on this joke?
Don't you learn? Sometimes it's just the simple things.
It's the simple things. Yeah.
Jesse sometimes needs to get into what he calls the funny bone zone. How do you get into the funny bone zone?
I don't know. The world doesn't always feel very funny.
No, right. So how do you find the funny?
So when I pitch a new book to my publisher now, because since I won the Thurber Prize for American Humor a couple years ago, and that's all right.
And was nominated again.
And was a finalist this past year, and did not win.
No, the second time.
The second time. But so now whenever I pitch something, it is very much like, well, so I'm just like, it's a sad story of marriage, and one person losing their partner, and what long-term relationships are like. And they're like, well, it's going to be funny, right? It'll be funny. It's going to be funny. It's going to be filled with jokes. And I don't always feel funny, and the world doesn't always feel funny.
Sure.
And so I always wonder, the person who, James McBride, the author, won the Thurber the year before I did for a book called Deacon King Kong. And he went on to write Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, which is a fantastic book. But I always make myself laugh thinking of him pitching that to his publisher. And the publisher going, well, tell us about this grocery store. Is the funny people shop there? Does the food taste funny? Do they sell funny things? And so, I don't know. It's that tough balance of really humor. I think it's just naturally how I view the world. I think it's some people they think of humor as the absence of seriousness. And I kind of vehemently disagree with that. I think I'm taking something very seriously if I'm making a joke over it. The difference is, instead of just saying and I think we do this in life too. If we're able to make a joke about something, instead of saying this difficult thing is happening to me, if I make a joke about it, I'm not denying that this challenge is happening to me, but I am taking a small bit of authorship over it. And by being able to craft a joke and putting that back out there, what I'm saying is this is not going to define me. I have a resilience, hopefully, that will allow me to continue. And so I think about, even in these challenging times when it's hard to feel funny, I do sort of think humor has been our, let's think, oldest coping mechanism, And so I think the history of humor is, even humor from people who have suffered the most, the Jewish humor, that survived the Holocaust, or queer humor that got us through the AIDS crisis or something. And so I always think humor is a part of survival. It's a part of what makes us human in a way. I don't know that I would survive if I couldn't laugh.
And there's also, there's a quote in the book that humor can be kind and funny. Right? So you did write that.
I did write that, yeah. No,
You just at yourself as though I said something really profound, so I just wanted you to know you get the credit for that.
Yeah. No, I do think that, because it allows me to rag on straight men for a moment, and I'm sorry. But, like, there are a lot of straight male comedians who say, like, oh, it's impossible to be funny in politically correct times.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's very wrong. I think most of those comedians were mistaking cruelty for humor in the first place. And it's not that there's not things to make fun of, but there's a way to do it kindly. And there's plenty of people to punching up versus punching down. There are people who are willing to seize power right now by standing on the necks of the most vulnerable people in our community. Yeah. And those people should never be trusted with power and should be mercilessly, is that a word? Mocked. J.D. Vance on The View today, right? Like, he should always be made fun of. But that's fair game, those in power. But the person with the boot on their neck, they don't need to be made fun of.
Yeah. Well, and it's also interesting because, for better or for worse, in my opinion, or at least for me, the best humor, the things that I find the most funny are just honest.
Yeah.
Right? Even saying the thing about algae being aliens, like, sure, that's funny, sort of, but, like, it's also honest. It is this thing that's growing, and I don't know what it is. It's an alien.
Right.
So there is truth to it, and it's also funny.
Yeah. But it also,
my
like,
poor
it connects,
biology teacher
yeah,
in high school.
yeah, is having a conniption. Right
I have
now.
a degree in theater.
But it also connects us, right? It's like, oh, other people are like, oh, I can see how that is funny, and it's like,
right,
it
exactly.
bonds us,
Exactly.
and then sharing a laugh together.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do that in novel format. It's a terrible return on investment. So if there were aspiring comedy writers out there, like, write for television, write for film, write for something else, write for the
theater.
stage, yes.
Yeah.
And
you hear that laughter.
You hear that laughter, yeah. You get to hear that laughter. Like, I'll craft a joke and I'm typing away and I'm like, oh, that's really funny. I can't wait. Can't wait for people to read that. And then it's like, oh, it'll take me a year.
And then you
to
go
finish
over to
the
Byron.
book. Yeah. Then I run to Byron's office down the hall, and and then it's going to take another year after I'm done before the book comes out, and then you want the book to have a long shelf life too. Yeah. So it's like, you never know when the laugh is going to come, if at all. It's funny that I run down the hall to Byron's office because someone on tour asked me if we shared a workspace.
Oh, God.
Like, we had bankers' desks facing each other, and we're just typing away and laughing and typing away and laughing. And I just was like, no, that's definitely not the case. One, because we're both still alive. We would, one of us would kill the other if we shared an office space that way. Yeah.
You said one. I didn't know if there were more reasons. You don't have. That's okay. An assignment that Jesse gives his class is to write about a time that he felt abandoned. This is what I said to you earlier. I don't want to hear this. I know that when Byron left, there was a version of feeling.
But is there another time when I felt
in
abandoned?
Your life? What would you write in that class?
Oh, sure. There's lots of times I felt abandoned in my life. I think back to childhood, how I became funny in the first place. I was always astonished, and I was a closeted kid in the 1980s. I was astonished at other kids' ability to sniff out something on me that I wasn't even ready to put words to. And so it did feel like there was a time when, kindergarten, first grade, when everyone was friends, and then it felt like all the boys were moving on in this one thing, and I didn't speak that language, or I didn't know how to do what they were. I was very othered in a way, and so I definitely felt abandoned that time. Yeah. And so, like, the way to deal with that is to develop a sense of humor in a way. Two different reasons. One, if you can cut a bully off at the knees, and make other people laugh at them, it takes their power away. But also, sometimes humor is self-depreciating, or it's directed inward. And if you can make other people laugh at you before they can make fun of you, it's sort of taking the power away from them to do that.
Yeah.
Also.
What are the things that you laugh at the most? Like, I was saying that sort of observational, honest truth is what I really find funny. What's sort of the thing? What's your go-to humor? Is it Mel Brooks? Is it?
I'm trying to think, like, what are, honest to God, it's different because it's like written humor is so different from performed humor is so different from, you know, live humor, seeing something, because laughter can be very infectious, right? So if you see, you know, I want to see a comedy in the theater. You know, I was just in New York on part of this tour. I saw Oh Mary. Like, you want to see that.
With other people.
With other
it's
people.
wit's sitcoms use laugh tracks.
Right, exactly. Yeah. To cue you along. So I don't know. I read a lot. It's hard. It's hard to make someone just laugh out loud from the written word by itself. So when I talk about how I develop my humor, you know, I often credit my mother for introducing me to movies like Terms of Endearment, Steel Magnolias, Beach, you know, and I was like, these are my favorite comedies.
So hilarious.
And they're like, I know, it's hilarious. Oh, the one where the mother dies and the best friend dies and the daughter dies. And I'm like, oh, yeah, but, you know, someone saying that someone was accused me of sociopath but I remember them as being comedies, you know, like, because it was the laughter that got those characters through everything. And so that's what I was left with, sort of remembering. They were very funny.
There also is a larger-than-lifeness to so many of them, which is a whisper of camp, which is funny and aspirational.
Yeah. I also want to, since I mentioned those three movies, and I'm also going to add Carol Burnett and Julie Andrews and Lily Tomlin and Bette Midler and Jane Curtin and Gilda Radner and the early women of Saturday Night Live. Women have been so foundational. They do not get credit as the funnier sex. They are absolutely the funnier sex. And they were so informative of my ability to, like my comedic language was all from watching these brassy, broad.
Yeah, I mean, funny that you say that women. Because talking about straight white men comedians saying you can be funny right now, the first person that came to mind, I just watched Wanda Sykes' comedy special, and she is literally the opposite of a straight white man. But she's so funny. It's so, again, honest. It's barely vulgar.
Right.
And my husband and I are still laughing about it. We're still quoting it weeks after watching it. And yeah, anyway, write it down. It's a recommendation.
Yeah. But it's very hard. It's very hard. You know, being funny is very hard to do, but that's why you see so many more comedians can give great dramatic performances than dramatic actors can give good comedic performances, I think. Like, if you can do comedy, you can do anything.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus is about to make her Broadway debut in a drama.
Yeah.
She's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I want to talk to you about? There is something in the book where someone says, I'm too young to be old, and then someone replies saying, yeah, but I'm also too old to be young.
Yeah.
There is this dichotomy. How do you navigate that?
Well, Jason loves to remind me that I am now eligible for the senior citizen discount at the Festival Movie Theaters in Palm Springs.
You get free popcorn.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So as of this last birthday, yeah.
Well, there's something to be said. I mean, I'm answering my own question, but there's something about finding the joy, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, so also, you know, I don't know if this ties into the abandonment or not, but I do think about people my age. I just turned 55. So people my age, for a lot of straight people, you know, or if you've had kids, you know, you might be having them leaving college. You might be dealing with an empty nest for the first time, or you know, if you had a career right out of college, you might be thinking about retirement. And I'm not saying that their lives are getting they're winding down by any means, but they maybe are getting a little quieter or entering a new phase. Whereas I came to write, you know, I was trying so hard to break into writing as a career, you know, and I only got my first novel came out 10 years ago. So I feel like I'm still new at, you know, I'm still raring to go, and I don't have kids. So that's, you know, my life isn't changing in that way. So I always, actually, a lot of our friends are younger just because I identify more. I identify as a young person. I am significantly younger than you. You are significantly younger than me, yeah. And don't find it annoying. But it doesn't, you know, stop us from being good friends. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, and it's also, I mean, just thinking about young being relative, right? Because you're young, you're a young writer.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So my first book, Lily and the Octopus, came out June 20 16, yeah, so exactly 10 years ago. So like, I still made friends with many of the debut writers of that year.
Right.
Now, I was 45 when that novel came out, but a lot of debut writers that year were younger than I were. And so, we've sort of come up through the publishing business together, but those are my colleagues, as it were, contemporaries,
Talking about, this is such a random spot to be asking this question, but Norman observes that homophobia can still exist no matter how many rights queer people might get. I'm curious, having come back from tour, what was your experience like being around this country right now?
Yeah, it's, it was wonderful, but, I am in libraries and bookstores, and I'm meeting people who read for pleasure.
Yeah.
That is going to be, we're already going to have, something huge in common. And I already think if you're a reader, and I think the majority of my readers are straight. And so, and I love that. It's our job as readers to read books by people who don't look and sound exactly like us.
Sure.
So these are people who have empathy. And so already, we're inclined to agree. Now, I'm also here with my very first children's book, also. And so I was doing several children's story hours. And then I did one in Oklahoma City. And it's a version of The Guncle, which many of you know me from. And the children's mother dies, and they go to live with their gay uncle. I was like, okay, kids in Oklahoma, let's talk about homosexuals and death.
They would have appreciated it more if you were not in drag.
Yeah, I know, right? And so, but it went great. But their parents are there. But their parents brought them there
to the library.
But to the library for that.
Right.
But this is why I don't think every book is for every single child. But I'd much rather have the parent make that decision than the government,
sure.
Or a school board, or a parent trying to decide for someone else's child. Yeah. So it went really well. I did, I was in Oklahoma City, I was in Dallas, I was in Nashville, I was in Pittsburgh. I was.
And you're not taking out a rainbow flag at Waffle House.
No,
as far as I know.
No, but I'm here with very queer books.
Yeah.
And so it's not hiding anything, but people come out and they're very generous with me, and it's lovely. It gives me hope for the future. I know that hopefully we're nearing an end of a terrible time, but I really don't know. Could be worse.
Speaking of,
yes,
there's a quote in the book that dwelling on a problem preserves the problem. How do we move past that?
Well, that is one character's. Is it the mother who says that?
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
it is an interesting.
It is an interesting thought, but I mean it to be a little obnoxious. I think part of the reason where we are because we have not reckoned with. We did not dwell enough on what we went through previously. I don't think we've dwelled enough on the year 2020 in general, like the loss that we have gone through. I don't know that I have dwelled enough on, I've hit this age. This book is about aging and long-term relationships and partnership. And, I always think I came out in 1991, 92, somewhere in there. But the life expectancy for gay men was not optimal. And so I don't know that I ever expected to live to be this age. I didn't know that I would be married, right? Like marriage equality seemed like something that was impossibly far away, and we forget how quickly the culture has changed. So to be up here, talking about a book about marriage, as a married person,
with another gay married person,
and we're having this conversation, and the book is critical of marriage at times, but it's also strangely defensive of the institution as well. That is a big journey, but also to answer your question, I don't think we've dwelled. I don't know that I've dwelled on the all the loss that was happening when I was coming out, because here I am at this age, and we are robbed of a generation of queer elders. So what does it look like getting older? There are some wonderful, examples still, but you have to look for them a little harder than, because we lost so many beautiful young men. And that's why I also try not to hide my age either, because I was like, how many of them would kill to be, they just never got the opportunity to be this age. And so I'm going to complain about it. I don't think so.
No, you're going to get your freaking
I'm going to get my free popcorn, give him the finger behind my back, but yeah.
Well, so this is interesting because I think it is important to dwell is maybe not the right word, but to reflect, to remember, to question, when is it okay to let go, right? Like, I imagine most of us don't want to live in 2020 much longer, but I understand why it is important to talk about or to think about or to address, whether it's loss or Black Lives Matter or how everything was handled or whatever.
But the number of people who think Joe Biden was president in the year 2020 is astonishing.
Well,
it's
also,
astonishing.
Time is such a weird thing in general.
Yeah, but they don't get a pass for that. But, so when do we move on? When a lot of people are in prison.
Okay, this is... Yes, 100%. In general, though, and I'm not arguing that we shouldn't, or that we shouldn't sort of stick around.
Yeah.
But even talking about the 80s, you know, when will it feel okay to move on?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like, it's a complicated thing. Well, I'm just not ready to move on from the 80s. It had the best music.
Sure. I mean, nostalgia's a real thing, too.
Nostalgia's a real thing, too, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that these are live, evolving things, and I wrestle with how I feel about it, too.
Yeah. I'm not asking because I think that you need to have an answer.
Yeah. But to dwell on a problem is to perpetuate the problem. It's to preserve the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's complicated. It's like, it's complicated.
It is interesting. As an author, though, like, you are creating these diverse characters, and you're populating the world with characters with opinions as diverse as the people you meet, in your own life. And so I have to think of a weird argument that is not my own, because not everyone's going to think monolithically like I do.
Though they should.
They should. I don't think it would make for very interesting reading, right?
Of course
like perfect, books about perfect people who behave perfectly all the time, like very boring to read.
And also, they don't exist.
Right, those people?
Those people.
Yeah. No. For sure, that is fantasy.
Yeah. Okay, there are things in the book that are real places, like the Integratron. Mm-hmm. I assume you've been.
Has anybody been? Yeah, Integratron,
A few times.
Okay.
Punch card.
Yeah.
I have never been. Tell me more. What is this experience like? What's the commercial for the Integratron?
I've never been.
Listen, everyone, when you write fiction, it could be fake.
No, it's not fake. You do a lot of research. Byron has been several times. So, again, I go running down the hall. Hey, Byron, knock, knock, knock. Yeah. What's it like? And tell me everything. No, I have a lot of friends.
Have you ever done a sound bath?
No, I don't think I have.
All right, everyone. Field trip.
Yeah, field trip to the Integratron.
There probably is a sound bath that happens at this library. The library has such amazing
literally everything happening here. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll look at the little program book, and we'll come.
Yeah, there's an incredible geode collection out there. It's like you could probably do a sound bath using those geodes. No, okay. They were behind locked glass, so I don't know.
I've done it once. It's very, you like feel it resonating in your body.
Yeah.
What, do you do anything like that? Anything
woo woo?
You said it, not me.
No, I'm a little more grounded, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't know that I really do anything like that. Yeah.
Great.
Moving on. But I mean, like, the history of that build. Like, they think the person who built it says they got the plans. It's very much like Mormonism.
I actually don't know.
I dug up the golden plates in my backyard, but I can't show you the golden plates. He was like, I got the plans from a UFO, from a species, but I can't show them to you. But trust me, as I build this yurt,
Sounds.
How could I not put it in the book?
To me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I know we should do like a Joshua Tree book field trip.
Yeah.
We should have done the event in the...
Well, a lot of books, so a lot of people were introduced to me from the Gunkel, and I have had book clubs come from all over the country, from Seattle and Chicago and Denver and all over, who have come here, they read the Gunkel, they come here for their book club meeting, they're all wearing caftans, and they go around the city and go to all the places that Patrick and the kids went to, and so they're like, having dinner at Lulu's and things like that. I was like, I can send you to better restaurants. I don't know. Is the owner of Lulu's here? Like, I don't know. But like the point of that was because like where can Patrick get a martini and it also has a children's menu, right? Like, those are not necessarily the restaurants I would send you if you only had one weekend in Palm Springs.
Sure. Meanwhile, I'm still stuck on, like, we should be monetizing this.
Yeah, no, for sure. There should be.
Let's do the Gunkel tour.
The Rowleyverse now includes a Joshua Tree tour.
Yes.
Also, for
Not
sure.
a terrible idea.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, if anyone is on the city council in Palm Springs, I should get an award from the Chamber of Commerce or something.
It's all you, definitely. Okay, you mentioned this earlier. Jesse talks about how he's been thinking a lot about how all the ways that we're alien to each other, even the people that we know really well. How has that sort of come up for you in the process of this book? How have you noticed the aliens around you, or have felt maybe alien to others?
Is this when you pull back your mask and show us
your
true reptilian form? That's what?
In 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes, yeah.
The sun hasn't fully set yet.
Okay. But, there are windows. Byron has a saying that no two people have ever met. And someone says that to you, and you're like, shut up. And then you think about it for a minute, and you're like, oh, yeah, there's so much going on in our head that, like, and we're always thinking, like, how do we present ourselves? What am I editing out? What do I want people to like me? What am I holding? What are the messy parts that I'm not sharing? What are my fears? What are the vulnerabilities? All the things that we hide from other people. And then that a saying like that starts to make a lot of sense.
Sort of similarly, there's a character who talks about wanting to be a part of the larger world.
Ariel from The Little Mermaid?
No, she sings about it.
Yeah.
It's actually really funny that you bring that up, because when you talked about the people that we lost to AIDS, my first thought is almost always Howard Ashman, who wrote the lyrics of The Little Mermaid.
I want to be part of this world.
And I can't help but wonder what he would have written next.
I was
things that we lost.
But that song in particular, he knew he was dying when he wrote that, but I want to be where the people are. I want to be part of this world. It's very heartbreaking when you think about it. But it's about a fish or a mermaid or whatever. But
Jesus Christ.
I think there was a question there. Oh.
There was. A character in your book.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't sing about it.
Who? Do you remember? Which character?
I do, but I don't want to give it away.
Okay, yeah.
Wants to be part of a larger world. What does that look like for you?
Oh, well.
This is like, we're getting to the
Q&A.
No. This is like a meaningful moment for you to talk about the larger world.
Well, you know me. My instinct is to make a joke. So the joke answer is it means like book tour.
Yeah. Byron.
Yeah, exactly. Run down the hall. It looks like book tour in a way. And I only say that because writing can be a very solitary endeavor, which doesn't mean that I don't have Byron as my first reader and an agent and an editor and a whole team behind me. But when you're writing that first draft, long stretches of time, it's very your thoughts, you're locked in your brain by yourself. And so to want to be part of the larger world again, it's like it does feel like coming up to the surface a little bit and being able to travel and meet readers and talk to people. And I learn so much sometimes about even what my own book is about. I learn from talking about people when they finally read it. I was like, oh God, that was really smart. Yeah. So that's kind of the joke answer, but it's also not a joke. But I think like I just, the real answer is, and I think about this like, oh God, if the aliens came down and I went and they could take me somewhere, like what would I want that world to be? And it is just a world where kindness is the default, that we have moved past this sort of petty human need to be so cruel to one another. I want to be part of that world because that's when I think really interesting things can happen.
Yeah, and a great way to learn that is through reading.
Yes.
Supporting your local library, buying books for other people, like the ones that are in the back of the room. Any questions for Steven? Oh, that hand went up.
Came. Oh, I saw a bunch of hands.
She has the punch card to the Integratron, so we're going to go.
Is that true? Okay.
First of all, you're both delightful.
If you couldn't hear the question, we're delightful. Both of us are delightful. Okay.
That's not a question, but we will take it.
Yes, sir. Oh my goodness. So I've been reading a couple books about marriage now that I've written a book about marriage, and I don't do that while I'm writing because I don't want other people's ideas to infiltrate my own. But
It's one of the For Dummies books.
yeah, it was Marriage for Dummies. No, this is going to be a slightly annoying answer because the book is not out yet. But I just read, you know what I'm talking about, Understory by Chloe Benjamin, which will be out in September. A book called Understory. It is very much about a marriage against the backdrop of something slightly bigger and weirder that's happening. It's a beautiful, beautiful book, and it's going to end up being one of the big books of the year. So, Understory, Chloe Benjamin.
And she'll be on Gays Reading in September.
Will she? Mm-hmm. Okay. Listen to Jason's podcast, and you'll get all the details when that comes out. I just read The New Life by Tom Crewe, Crewe, which is combined my love of two things. One, reading about marriage now, but also The Gilded Age. But it's about two marriages in the late 1800s. As they sort of are struggling to find some sort of modernity in the institution. And
that is out.
That is out. That has been out for a couple years. Let's see. What am I reading? Right now I'm reading John of John, by Douglas Stewart, which I just love.
So
That's a father-son story, not about marriage, but the prose is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I think it's Oprah's book club.
Last month's Oprah's book club.
They announced a new one today.
Also a Gays Reading guest. Also a new book today. Also a Gays Reading guest.
Oh, really?
Everyone go like and subscribe.
Yes, he has the best. The fact that you even have time to sit here with me is amazing.
I know. I squeezed you in.
Yeah, but there's a couple.
There was another question over here.
Spielberg is very into aliens.
Mm-hmm.
They're here now and been here forever. Has your agent, or would you consider having him look at this book and maybe put it into a movie?
So Steven Spielberg, a movie. I have not seen
It's pronounced
Disclosure.
Rowley.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
It is. Maybe it's a Steven thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a Team Steven thing. I have not seen Disclosure Day yet, but I do want to. No, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm in the very fortunate position that the rights for this book have been picked up for a television series by Warner Brothers and super producer Bill Lawrence, who is behind Ted Lasso and Shrinking and Scrubs and many, many other great shows. What about The Guncle? So
And a heckler.
that's an interesting. That's an interesting thing. So The Guncle has been in development for a movie for a long time, and I don't have anything exciting to report as of now. I'll just be honest with we're all friends. It's been a very frustrating and agonizing process. But having a mainstream studio theatrical family film with a queer lead is still something that they're trying to figure out, and I want them to take their time and do it right. But when Trump became ascendant a second time, there was this real fear, like, oh, we should pull back from diverse stories, like maybe this isn't the right time, or maybe it would be better if it had a straight actor. And I was like, well, he better be British.
Because they're a little bit gay.
They're a little bit gay, yeah. But I'll tell you what has loosened the logjam this year. It's the hockey smut. And very, very different projects, right? I said family film, not family friendly, but it is the reaction, the embrace of, the audience that came out and supported that in such droves, showed that.
About Heated Rivalry.
Heated Rivalry,
Yeah.
sorry, yes, Heated Rivalry.
Familiar.
Which is on HBO. But, here's a project with no stars, no, you would think no crossover appeal, and yet it's just done tremendously well. And so I think that has emboldened, it has stiffened the spine of the studio a little bit, and hopefully I'll have some news to share soon.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that. I've heard a lot of people say that Heated Rivalry really lit a fire under a lot of different
loins
production offices.
Production offices,
It did
production
a lot.
offices.
It lit a fire in all sorts of places.
Yeah.
Good for everybody.
Yeah.
Other questions?
Yeah.
Sounds like a question from a writer, if I've ever
Yeah, I
heard
know.
one.
I've never heard, but the first 10,000 words are dangerous. So this process from ideation through particularly through the first draft. I am, I guess what you would call a pantser, in that I don't outline. Oh, I'm not available right now. I don't outline. And so I very much kind of just make it up as I go along, for better or for worse. And I actually don't like to think of it as pantser comes with flying by the seat of your pants. I picture more like a road trip. Like I know my starting city and I know my destination, kind of. I have an ending in mind. It's just how I'm going to get there that I kind of, make up as I go along. And it allows me to take exits and explore things. There's a sign like, oh, here's something interesting. I can go. Sometimes it doesn't work and I have to backtrack, get rid of that, delete. But, it allows me to discover things throughout the journey that I don't know that I would have otherwise had I outlined it all in advance. The first 10,000 words are always the most dangerous time in writing a novel because you're either at 10,000 words, you usually know if this has the gas to go the distance or if it's going to fizzle out. It wasn't really the idea for a novel.
What is roughly that amount of pages?
Oh, I don't know. Because,
okay.
It's hard to put in pages because, I would say like 80 to 100 pages of manuscript. Yeah. But, everybody formats it differently.
Sure.
Whatever. And also during that first 10,000 words is when you hear the siren call of other ideas. And that's the writer's job in a way, is to put on blindfolds because there's always something shiny and new, right? And sometimes you have to mourn the idea not taken right now, or like to put it on the back burner, or to be like, no, you know what, that's a great idea, but it's never a novel I'm going to write. That's someone else, meant for someone else or something. But if I don't keep my eyes on the prize, I will never finish. I will never get to the end of a draft if I'm constantly, reaching at different ideas.
Did that answer the question? Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
When I started this book, I thought, where the heck are you going?
Don't spoil it for anyone.
Yeah.
No, I'm never spoil it.
Okay.
But as I was reading it, I thought, what would I do in this situation? What is he going to do? And how are you going to get to the end of this? And so it was a very exciting book because I had no idea where it was going, which is a great thing.
Thank you.
And I don't know how you did it and how you came out with the ending. Did you know that was?
I sort of, okay, yeah. So it is a little bit off the wall idea for me. So the question was, when you first started reading the book, you're like, what is happening? And how do you ground that, and also how do you get to an ending? I do think this is something that's a little bit different from me. It's not the Gunkel 3, but I hope if there's a consistency between my books, that what people recognize is the tone, right? It's going to hopefully be funny. That it will also, it may have some heartbreak as well, but it's that balance of humor and heart. And even though I write very different stories, I try to carry that tone, that voice with me across all the books. But yeah, I'm glad you stuck with me. But I do think, like when you're saying, like when you stopped and thought about it, you're like, what would I do in this situation? And that's when like when you have an idea, like I think every great novel really needs to start with a question. And that was a question where I thought I could write to both answers of that. I could make, it's not, it maybe on the surface seems cruel that one person would leave, but how could you not? A certain type of person.
Well, and as we learned earlier, Steven didn't have his own answer to that question.
Yeah, no, I don't.
But so you channeled it through these characters.
Although I say now, I was firmly team stay when I started writing this book, and now I'm leaning a little bit more team go, and I don't know, it's partly because I started writing a few years ago and the events of the world are now such that I'm like, Earth is wrapping up. Yeah. So it doesn't seem as sad to leave anymore. I don't know, let's do that, like show of hands. Who would be team go? Oh, there's a lot of you.
Wait,
yeah.
Team stay.
Yeah, team stay.
Stay on Earth.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, your hands are a
voted.
little more timid.
Not enough people voted.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Just an observation.
Yeah. But as you say, it is that question of it nags at you. I've got to just sort of writer's right to understand. So you have this question. I don't know the answer to it. I think two answers are valid, and I'm going to write towards both of them and see if I can figure it out. And that's how you write a book. Yeah.
And you can all go get your copy and bring it to friends and read it and get to the end and ask yourself what you would do.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be a great book club book
Yes.
for that reason. Yeah.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Steven.
Thank
I'm
you.
Jason Blitman.
Thank you, Jason. Our friendship has survived another interview.
We don't share an office.
Yeah, we don't share an office. That's a secret.
And Steven's going to be signing books over there.
Okay.
Thanks,
Come say
everyone.
hello. Thank you very much. And thank you to the Rancho Mirage Library, truly.
Yes, thank you all.
Yeah. All right.